We have a room full of some of the brightest minds across Jamaica, across the region, and we are going to get started with the program today because we have a lot of work ahead of us, and I am really excited to hear what are some of the ideas that will come out of the session so that we can feed those recommendations and some of the proposed solutions into the other panels that are happening, so that when we come up with the partnership agreement on Friday, the partnership framework to take the Caribbean Action 2030 conference recommendations forward, that we will have very strong inputs from our youth delegates present today. So with that said, I'm going to introduce our first presenter, Mr. Richard Kelly, who is a program specialist on policy advisory services at UNDP Jamaica. Prior to joining UNDP, Mr. Kelly worked with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Ministry of Agriculture, the private sector, and academia. His experience spans policy development, strategic planning, natural resource management, and public administration, and he's a published author. I now invite Richard to set the baseline for today's discussions centered on the SDGs. Welcome, Richard.
It's really good to be in this august body of young people. You make me feel young. We're going to have a discussion today, and I want you to be relaxed so that you can make me be relaxed, and let's talk. Do you dream of a world that is free from poverty, injustice, and inequality? Do you dream of a place where you can use your best ability with tenacity, achieve your full capacity? Do you dream of a time when your life is not determined by your locality, but by your unbridled audacity? To sustain the highest quality of your personality and live your expected reality. Then you must inspire, inquire on how you can play the needed roles of supporting the awesome Sustainable Development Goals. I'm here to talk to you today about the Sustainable Development Goals, and I'm sure that most of you would have been exposed to the goals. And I'm going to go quickly because I know time is of the essence. So come journey with me. The essence of the Sustainable Development Goals is about transformation. And transformation means change, not being what you were before. A world meeting expectations and going beyond that. So these goals are urging us to transform. Before we talk about the goals though, we know that, and I see some of you are in glasses. So I know those that are in glasses are actually seeing in 4 dimensions, right? But we see in 3 dimensions. At least that's what the scientists say. Agreed? But do we think in 3 dimensions? There are multiple dimensions to think. And the sustainable development approach is about thinking in 3 dimensions. And if you can think about every single issue that there is, you realize that there are at least 3 dimensions to every issue. You have the economic, you have the environment, and you have the social. So that in essence is what the sustainable development approach is about. Trying to balance the interplay between the economic, the social, and the environment. And then as I go through the presentation, we will see how these are linked to the awesome sustainable development goals. Now, in 2015, this year was very unique because it ushered in a transition between the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals. So basically, the MDGs, as we know them, ended in 2015. So, and that was the primary agenda, development agenda for the world for 15 years, from 2000 to 2015. So the world needed something to take development forward, to ensure that no one is left behind. So on 25th September 2015, 193 member states adopt 2030 agenda. Kind of sounds like Vision 2030, right? Because we adopted it a couple of years back, 2009, I remember. But the world needed a new agenda, and hence the genesis of Agenda 2030. The SDGs were born. 17 goals, 169 targets, and of course, indicators too numerous to comprehend. What are the SDGs? What do they do? What do they accomplish? What do they target? Oh, a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of opportunities. These goals actually target so many multidimensionalities. Some of them are listed up there. Globalization, climate change, pervasive, not going away. We have to contend with it. Unsustainable consumption, HIV and AIDS. Sometimes we have peace, sometimes we have conflict, violence, employment, unemployment, and quality education or poor education. A lot of issues. How do we tackle them? And these are just some. We see them every day, we interact with them, we try to solve them. The SDGs are about addressing these issues. And the thing about the SDGs is that it's global. But as we go through this discussion today, we have to make them local. We have to land them, as we say. We have to localize them. We have to make them our own. Hence, the post-2015 development agenda was ushered in to progress on the MDGs. The MDGs were not a failure because we achieved some of them. Not all. There is still work to be done, but we achieved some of them. The SDGs are actually building on what the MDGs could not do. It's a big concept. Sustainable Development Goals. Very, let me say, academic terminology. Sustainable Development Goals. But let's bring them down to our level. It's a big concept. Let's bring them down a bit. It's not really so much a big concept. You may have been doing a lot of actions to support achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. And as I said before, they're local, they're global, but they need to be local. They also need to be individual. And that is how we are going to achieve them, in collective action. Here are they, 17 of them, and they are quite so interesting. No poverty. Everyone here should expect a world, one day, 2030, is the aim, that no one will be poor. It doesn't necessarily mean that everyone will be rich like Bill Gates or this young lady in the front, but it means that no one will be poor. And that's good. Gender equality. Girls and boys, men and women have the same opportunities to succeed. Wouldn't that be great? It doesn't matter your sex. You have the same opportunities to achieve your full potential. Remember the dream. Do you dream of such a world? Then it goes on to talk about clean water and sanitation, so essential. Affordable and clean energy. We are all plugged into energy. Can you imagine a day when JPS, Jamaica Public Service, turns off the light for a few minutes? We collapse. Oh my God, it is so hot. What's going to happen? I can't listen to my favorite music. I can't watch House of Cards or Scandal. Yeah, I know them. I keep up. It's devastating. Or there's a storm, or there's a strike, and we can't get gas at the gas station. It's frightening. But energy needs to be clean, it needs to be affordable, and it needs to be universal. Not everybody on the planet has this kind of access. It talks about reducing inequalities. Very, very important. If we're talking about equal opportunities, then we have to reduce inequalities. We have to have at least some standard by which everybody can capitalize on. And I won't go through all of them today. I mean, you can have access to these. But you see the kinds of goals that we are talking about: decent work and economic growth. That's why one of the reasons why we go to school. We have a great education because we want decent work. Not just to drive the Beamer or live in the big house on the hills, but we want to function in society. We want to contribute to society's growth. We want to become what we want to become. Decent work and economic growth are twinned. And you can go through them at your own leisure. Quality education, essential. What are the elements underpinning the Sustainable Development Goals? What are the principles? Well, there are 5 P's, if you want to call it that. People. That's the first one. Very, very important. Development must be people-centered. It must be about you and me. Can't be about anything else. And if it's about you and me, then everything emanates from that. Everything spins around that. We're like a fulcrum. So the sustainable goals are saying, look, it must be about people first. Then the planet. Prosperity. Like what the Prime Minister said yesterday, if you were there at the opening ceremony. Prosperity. And if we're going to prosper, it means that we have to reduce inequality. We have to have decent work and economic growth. We have to have gender equality. We have to have quality education. Peace. We cannot operate if we're not peaceful, if we are fearful, if there's no safety, if we are insecure. We can't achieve goals like that. No way. And of course, we can't do it alone. The SDGs are individual. And that's the beauty of them. But they are also, in order to achieve them, it requires partnerships. Great partnerships. So those are the underlying principles of the Sustainable Development Goals. And remember, here it says on the presentation 15 years, but 2 years have elapsed. So we really have 13 years. We don't really have much time. And a lot of you know about creative tension. You want something to be done and your brain, well, for some of us will collapse. The night before the exam, oh my God, I didn't study, I'm going to fail. But some of us aren't like that. The night before the exam, that's when the fire burns in our belly. And we do it, and we go, and we pass the exam A. And then the next minute you say, what was sustainable development? And you say, huh? But a lot of us know that. So we have 13 years to go, young people. Make it yours. Feel it in your belly and go for it. Remember I said, each goal is important. But from the short presentation that we have been having, you're realizing that the goals are not alone. So you can't have decent work and economic growth if you don't have the others, if you don't have peace, if you don't have partnerships, if you don't have quality education, if you don't have gender equality, if you don't reduce inequality. You can't have that. So although they are important alone, they are also important together. That's the only way that they're going to work. So they are interconnected. They are universal. So it's not for Jamaica alone. It's not for Colombia. It's not for Barbados alone. It's for every single country on earth. Some countries may not buy into them as others, but they are universal. They are meant to transform the world. Well, they are meant for transformation globally. they integrate the pillars of sustainable development. And what are those again? What are the pillars of sustainable development? What is the 3D approach? Can somebody quickly tell me? Exactly. Economic, social, environment. The SDGs are about that. It integrates, or they integrate, all of the pillars of sustainable development. So you can't do one without the other. In other words, we can't increase GDP, gross domestic product. We can't improve people's lives at the expense of the environment. Neither can we save the tree and let the man or woman die. So the SDGs, while focusing on the pillars of sustainable development, it's also about trade-offs. How can I compromise? How can we compromise to ensure that people's lives are enhanced and we still have environmental integrity and protecting our natural resources and still have economic growth? So it's about that. So economic growth plus social development plus environmental protection equates to achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, this formula equates to achieving sustainable development, and that's what it is all about. It's not easy, but if you understand it, and if you make the connections, as we're saying, thinking in 3D, so every single thing that you do, you think with this 3D approach. You address and come up with solutions to problems with this 3D thinking, then we'll be closer to achieving the SDGs. It's individual, or they are individual goals. They are local, they are global. In essence, what it is saying is that you and I should be our brothers and sisters keepers. I should look out for you and you look out for me. You know why? Because if I'm way up there and you're down there, that's not sustainable, is it? It's not. So it's the essence of the Sustainable Development Goals, with all the terminologies that we have. The essence of it is that no one should be left behind. And if you look at those goals, you will see that all of them are focusing to ensure that no one is left behind. And that should be your mantra. That should be ingrained in your brain, that I'm doing what I'm doing so that I am not left behind. And in doing that, I'm leaving no one behind. And if we do that, we are really achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Leaving no one behind. A diversity of persons in the world. A diversity of people. Everyone is happy. No one should be left behind. The MDGs, just giving you a comparison, I will just go through about 2 or 3. Ended in 2015 for the MDGs. The SDGs are from 2015 to 2030. The MDGs were set in the context of rich donors aiding poor recipients. But for the SDGs, every country will have to play its part. However, it doesn't mean, yesterday, if some of you were there in Jeffrey Sachs' presentation, he said that the rich countries should pay. And we agree with that. They are responsible for climate change. Who disagree? Nobody. We agree they should pay, but does that mean that the Jamaican government shouldn't do anything? Does it mean that we should hold our money in our pockets and don't contribute? Does that mean that our talents should remain latent? Does that mean that we shouldn't contribute? We have a lot to offer. So remember I said that the SDGs are global. They are universal. So it doesn't really get any country off the hook. It's about partnership, so every country has a role to play. It combines hunger and poverty in the MDGs. The SDG says, hey, there's a difference here. Hunger is different from poverty. You can be poor, but you're not hungry. Is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. You can be poor, but you're not hungry. Or you can be hungry, but not poor. There's a difference there. So the SDGs separate the two. No poverty, no hunger. And I'm sure at some point the presentation will be shared so you can see the rest of the comparisons. And I'm winding down. In order to achieve the SDGs, there's a word that we use in Jamaica. Are we all from Jamaica? No? Oh, but maybe I can't use that word then. I'll try. I'll try. It don't take any pian. You never hear that word? Pian. It doesn't take people that are timid, don't have a strong back to achieve the SDGs. When I look at you from where I am standing, I see bold people. I see ambitious people. I see opportunities and talents and capacity and ability ready to unleash on the world. I see value. I see progress. So to achieve the SDGs, you have to be ambitious. And when you say ambitious, you don't say ambitious. You say ambitious. You make it your ambition to achieve the SDGs. Because if you achieve the SDGs, you are progressing. So it takes innovation. Why are we here? Why do we have the many problems that I showed you some when we just began? Why are we here? Why do we need to transform? It means that what works yesterday doesn't work today. So in order to disrupt and create and transform, we have to innovate. And that's what is lying in you. You, the future. You can innovate. You can create. You can make that transformation. And that's what we are encouraging you to do. So the SDGs are about innovating to achieve them. Bold. It goes with the innovation and the other things. You have to be bold. Someone once said boldness has creativity and innovation. So if you're bold, it means that you will go far. If you're bold, you will achieve. The goals are ambitious, so you have to be bold to achieve them. Okay? And boldness doesn't mean that you're going to fight a lion. No. Or a bad dog. But it means that you will do what needs to be done in the correct way to achieve the goals. Hello? Our former Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, actually said, we are the first generation that can end poverty and the last one that can take steps to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. And you can read the others. What it means is that you and I have a responsibility. It's not the government alone. It's not the church alone. It's not the tertiary or academic institutions alone. It's you and I. We each have a responsibility to make the Sustainable Development Goals a reality. So I'm encouraging you, and throughout this presentation, I hope I succeeded in making you aware of what the SDGs are if you didn't know them before, or at least give you a little bit more knowledge than you came in here with. So I'm encouraging you to live the dream. Join the winning team. Go ye therefore and shine. Renew your mind. Help ensure that you and no one else are left behind. Make the SDGs yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Excellent presentation, very inspiring, and just what we need to keep us focused on why we're here today. Bold, creative action, innovation, take steps to make a change. We are each other's keeper, and we can make the difference and make the SDGs a reality. Okay, right now we're going to shift to another form of creativity. We have Stephen Newlin with us today.
My name is Stephen Newland, and I represent the Roots Underground, but I also am an environmental activist. And a few months ago, we played at a climate change initiative similar to this one, where I was introduced to the UNDP team, and they had this brilliant idea of shifting the focus of our, what we call Artists for Environment program, into a new program which we are going to introduce later on in the day, known as Artists for SDGs, right? And as the name suggests, we are here simply to make it, I think the gentleman earlier spoke about localizing the SDGs, meaning making it aware on every street corner. People know what we're talking about, know what the goals are, know so it can work in tandem. So this idea is to use the artists and celebrities of Jamaica to be the ambassadors and spokespersons for these SDGs. And in fact, we'd approach it in a very similar way that a corporation approaches product advertising, right? If you can bend your mind into thinking of the economic terrain and the social terrain and the environmental terrain as three products that we're trying to market and sell and maximize sales on, right? This would be, I mean, I'm a business student, so that's where, you know, my mind would set it. But I'm saying we can change the attitude and perceptions of them by simply making it be a relevant thing to us. Now, obviously in Jamaica, a big part of our culture and our education is entertainment and music, right? And of course, being in the music fraternity, also I'm pushing it in this direction. So, of course, we are under the three pillars of economic, social, and environmental. We'll have representatives here this morning. I see my brethren Black Hero over here, representing Artists for SDGs, and also Sheldon Shepherd of the Nomads family, and also silver screen star extraordinaire, also took time off of his shooting of his new film to be here with us this morning to again drive home how important this initiative is, right?
Greetings. Good morning everyone. It's quite early, you know, very early, you know. I've been on the set for the past month now, working on a project, a film project, you know. Y'all will be seeing it soon. For those who, you know, long for something since better must come, you know. Well, I guess better is coming. How are you doing, Gina? Respect, you know, indeed. So this is, big up yourself, Stevie G, you know. This is in the morning, yeah. And Stevie mentioned that he wanted to hear a particular piece, a piece titled Corporate Jamaica. You know, Nomads, we converted this piece to music, you know, not really a conversion because dub poetry is the rhythmic poems, musical pieces. So it has musical rhythm, musical ear and all of that. So I'll get into it for you. It's kind of our satire at the whole economic state and corporate Jamaica. The minimum wage just reached $3,000, eh? $3,000. Boss complained through Monday. Me visit the school for my little brother. Now Tuesday, what did happen Tuesday? The dog did bite the neighbor. Yes, and Wednesday, what did happen Wednesday? I had an allergic reaction to a flower. Achoo! And Thursday, what did happen Thursday? The dog re-bit the neighbor. Yes, and now I have to attend the funeral of my other grandmother. It is all true. All true. Say lunchtime of 59 minutes, don't take the hour. You will get the letter from the boss man with the power, stating that you just get fire. On the dotted line, him want you put your signature. This sequence continues over and over only in a corporate Jamaica. On the 9 to 5 corporate Jamaica. Trying to stay alive, corporate Jamaica. Is I may always out to luck. And everywhere me turn, and me the fire just burn, and now me really get working for my pay the legal way. Boss in my skin each and every day. As me come in at the office here, son, this way. About your report, I am not feeling gay. And you left the copier on yesterday. A fraction of the light bill coming out of your pay. And by the way, talking during work hours, ask me if you may. Because it seems like you always have something to say. I will not have it. This is not Ray. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Up in the corporate Jamaica, on the 9 to 5 corporate Jamaica, trying to stay alive, corporate Jamaica. It's like me always out to look, and everywhere me turn, and me the fire just burn, and now me really get. No, I was in the 9 to 5 for a while. No lie, it was more like 8 to 4. This month would have made 1 year, but I'm not actually there anymore. The boss was a small cut, but co-workers them broke out and turned sore. Pressured the poor man, so him just couldn't take it no more. Them say me always reach work late. When me for work, me a snore. Yawning when me a work, like to work is such a bore. In my t-shirt and my jeans, no jacket, no tie. Them say me walk around like me own the place with me head up in the sky. Them say me writing plays and poetry like walk away and cry. Where them no mind them on a blasted business. Although all what them say, I no lie. Yeah. But what? The long and short is I was dismissed. So me vex, all me teeth me a kiss. Kick over table, fling with 2 chair. Stick bubble gum in the secretary ear. Kick and scream like me was 2 again. Threaten the boss, say me I go call my friend. See a co-worker come in, me right hand, me lane. Crowd start gather, me say we wanna defend. Yeah. Me push me hand under my t-shirt and them get back. Them get back because them think them see a Glock. Me broke a glass! And the sound of the glass sounds like the alarm of a clock. 8 o'clock already. May I go call in sick. This one is reaching out to the massive and crew in a corporate style. From you love what you do, I want you to sing along. Up in a corporate Jamaica, on the 9 to 5 corporate Jamaica, trying to stay alive, corporate Jamaica. It's like me always out to look, and everywhere me turn, and me the fire just burn, and me really get, sing it, corporate Jamaica. On the 9 to 5 corporate Jamaica, trying to stay alive, corporate Jamaica. Is I may always out to look, and everywhere me turn, and me the fire just burn, and now me really get frustrated. Love and respect. So I'll make the handover of In the Morning, yeah? And if y'all want copies of In the Morning, yeah, we're on Amazon. We're in Kingston Bookshop, Bookophilia, Sangster's Bookstore. And if you're a distributor, you can contact Pelican Publishers.
Thanks to both of you. Thanks to both of you. Okay, great. So we're now moving into the next segment, which is Youth Innovates. And it highlights the winners of the two winners from the 2016 Technology Innovation Competition. This was a competition that was part of the Social Goods Summit with the theme Connecting Today, Creating Tomorrow, and was organized by UNDP Jamaica in 2016, inviting entrepreneurs and developers to submit technology-driven solutions that could advance the SDGs. So I'm going to introduce now Ms. Danielle Tate to the podium so that she can share with us some information on her project. Thank you.
My name is Danielle Tate, and as mentioned before, I represent the Interview JM. We're a talent management company, and we were one of the winners of the UNDP Technology Innovation Competition last year, which was based on looking at solutions to helping Jamaica, advance in our achievement of the SDGs. So, all right, sorry about that. Little challenges here with the technology this morning. But essentially what we aim to do is to help companies attract, hire, and retain the right people. And so we employ a number of technologies, some of them existing from partners overseas, as well as we'll be developing some of these technologies. But one of the things that I think we do very well is we leverage enterprise-level HR technology on behalf of medium, small, and micro organizations that traditionally would not be able to access or afford these technologies. However, so just an example, for example, is our video interviewing service, but I won't go into that right now. So the SDG that we are more closely aligned with is number 8. We're promoting not just full employment, but also full productivity and sustained employment as well. So our goal is to advance this particular SDG. And the issue, I think State Minister Floyd Green spoke of this as well in his presentation, but it's not just about providing more jobs. It goes beyond that. So we're actually looking at, productivity, how productive are persons within the job. I think the poem that we just listened to spoke to that as well. Are these persons being retained? Are they being developed while in the job so that they themselves can see career advancement? So our solution looks at doing 3 main things. 1, by producing better job and culture matches, we want to help persons think in a more career-oriented way, help companies to think in a more employer brand way so that they develop sort of a cyclical model to hiring, where they're constantly attracting high-quality candidates, even small businesses, and then they're therefore having a better chance of getting the right people in, developing them, and helping those persons to advance as well while they're employed. So it's a mutually beneficial type of arrangement. We also want to help them save time and, as I mentioned, make better decisions and also promote employee retention and advancement. So we have particular tools to help persons continuously learn and develop themselves either within the organization or if they're unemployed. So, as I mentioned, a big challenge here in Jamaica is that we have jobs, but the hiring managers are just not finding the right people to match to those jobs. We have companies having limited resources as it relates to the staff because they're spread thinly, having to take care of payroll and other administrative functions, so there's less emphasis on HR strategy. And we also have still double-digit youth unemployment, which is a huge issue. So I just want to mention some of the solutions. For us, the next steps we have, these are screenshots from our platform that is being developed right now, where we'll help job seekers and companies to promote themselves and to, in the future also, like I said, use that technology to facilitate better matches. We also will be working on next year looking at how do we develop individuals, not just when they're leaving university, but let's say they're in a job, and emotional intelligence is an area that perhaps if that person was better at, they would be more in line for promotions within an organization. We know that emotional intelligence, for example, is something that has to be developed with experience and practice. It's not something taught in the classroom. So how do we use technology to help persons develop in this way? So we're looking at that, as well as, like I said, leveraging existing tools overseas for job seekers and employees to develop themselves on a continuous basis and to be more career-oriented in their thinking. So, for us at the Interview JM, our goal, or what we envision, is a world where work is a mutually beneficial growth opportunity for businesses and employees. It sounds like a very highfalutin, idealistic vision, but that is what we are continuously working towards, and that is what drives us. And we're looking forward to more private and public sector partnerships to help us get there. So thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the remainder of the day.
We've had a fantastic morning so far. We've had video presentations on some of the projects being led by UWI students across the 4 campuses, putting their research into action to solve SDG projects and SDG issues, development issues in the region. We've had some dub poetry, looking at, yes, it was very, very entertaining, but also very thought-provoking for all of us. And so now we will have another presentation from Mr. Omari O'Connor, who is representing his mum, Miss Hazel O'Connor, another winner from the Technology Innovation Conference that took place in 2016. So we welcome you, Omari, and we look forward to hearing your presentation.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to be with you all. So I'm here to present on Microspect. So basically, Microspect is a technological company. We developed a unique device. It's very innovative, very revolutionary. It detects pathogens and allergens that's currently in the air around us. So we were established around 2 years ago from a university student at NCU, and we are registered about June 2016. So we've been officially registered as a company for around a year now. So what are we trying to nail? What's our problem? Around now, we see that there's a big issue with climate. A lot of pollution, big problems with climate right now. But outdoor pollution is one thing, but indoor pollution is a complete different kettle of fish. So, indoor pollution, how many of us say we spend most of our time outside? No? You? Alright. So, would we say you spend around 70% of your time inside or outside? Just get to raise your hands. 70% around that? Alright, so that's really good. But most people, we spend around 90% of our time inside, indoors. That includes commuting in your vehicle. So most people spend around 9% of their time indoors. And it's been the World Health Organization, they found that 30% of commercial buildings, they have some sort of indoor pathogen or allergen or some type of pollutant. So our solution for this is indoor air quality monitor. We call it the PAC monitor. PAC is an acronym for Pathogen and Allergen Quality Air Monitor. So this is designed to sense nanoparticles that are in the air. These particles will get, these particles, they are so tiny they pass your body's defense systems and get stuck in your lungs and cause a lot of different ailments. So the PAC monitor, it uses microsensors to develop these pathogens and allergens in the air before they get too serious. What it basically does, the sensors, it detects these allergens, it analyzes them, processes them, and sends them to a remote server. From this server, it will analyze and tell you when there's a problem, and will also give you a solution on how to fix this problem. So these are some product designs. It has a 3D display. It has It's also compatible with your mobile phone. So it will send you real-time alerts to show you what is going on in your environment, what's going on inside your company, your house, your school, so on. So where would we use this monitor? Basically, our primary target or primary usage is in hospitals. As you guys know, over the past week, there have been some incidents at Cornwall Regional. So they're saying there might be something in the air that is getting the people sick. So if they actually had our system, we would have detected some of these particles before it became a problem. Also, we can use them in our homes. If you have a newborn, you know that they're very sensitive to different things in the air. So if you have this, it will detect these problems before it becomes a problem. So our business model, as I said before, our primary targets are hospitals, but our secondary targets, they're schools and homes. So our focus area, basically Jamaica has around 50 hospitals. These include clinics and, include hospitals and clinics. Also, Argentina, where our study was also done, they have around 5,000 hospitals. The USA have over 7,000 hospitals, and Japan over 5,000 hospitals. We use these countries because they have strict regulatory systems about indoor air quality. So our pricing strategy, we plan to use basically market penetration, price penetration strategy at around $600 per unit. And to make the unit, it's around $160. Currently, we're in product development stage. We have a contract manufacturer in the United States who's actually making the product for us, and it should be ready for the market around sometime next year. So additional revenue, it would be through calibration and software updates. Because as you know, new diseases and new things come around every day. So we need to make sure that we are ready to find what's going on in the air. So our competitors, we have Aeroqual, Honeywell, Cerex, and Horiba. So basically, the difference between them and us, they do detect dangerous gases, but they don't detect pathogens. They just detect gases that are in the air. They don't detect small things that make us sick. Just natural things, simple things as things that would cause a common cold. Simple pathogens that are in the air. And as you can see, our pricing is very competitive to what they have. And right here, this is a basic team. First is Eugenia Anderson. She is the founder of the company, and she's also a medical student at a university in Argentina. My mother, who's a co-partner, she has over 20 years business experience. Everton McNee, she's a senior medical officer at the Manipur Regional Hospital. Sean Wellington has expertise in the industry of health and safety, and also Cedric Hansen with over 25 years experience in engineering. So together, the team, they have sat down and decided how we're going to enter this market, what they need, and the best ways to bring it together. Thank you very much.
I'm going to hand you over now to our artists for the SDGs, led by Stephen Newlin.
Of course. And of course, Black Hero, no further ado, right, Rasta?
Blessed Love Again. This song is, I didn't know the power of music until I really went into it. You see me, I'm a liberal, so I'm very outspoken, I'm social. No, don't do this, don't do that, you know. But what music has taken me to many different places and has shown me many different faces. So this song is a representation of what the conversations I've just had with the youth them in the inner city, the youth them in the streets, youth them that have degrees, can't get a job, youth that don't have it but want a better life, you see me? So everything I'm saying in this song is from their perspective, and mine, and a lot of people too, you see me? So blessed. Ooh, na na, yeah, yeah. Even if I share my story, yeah. Oh, na 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 na. Alright, hey, freedom fighter. Oh yeah, freedom fighters. Freedom, freedom. Yeah, I'm freedom fighter. Freedom fighter. Na na, woo woo woo. Somebody asked me if my vote, answer was just hardly worse. If the selection of a push or for hardly, preferably nobody than somebody. We sell off with no hardy. Well, tell you, actually, prefer to be homeless and never vote for honest. March road, civil right, make sure so we protest. Step down parliament streets, make sure youth eat, make sure youth seek. Yeah, environmental, spiritual, mental. Make them know say nothing. No, plastic bottles, them so detrimental. Make them understand it, no. But I say freedom fighters, oh yeah, freedom fighters, freedom fighters. Alright, I never born for fight against friends or family. No, I come to march against the system's fallacies. So with the example I set the lead, touch the streets and they use them how to be. Tell them what to eat, what to breathe, what to eat, what to, oh God, no. My feet won't fail me now. Oh, it won't fail me now. My feet don't fail me now. My feet won't fail me. My feet won't fail me now. Oh, no, 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 yeah. Ooh, we'll do it again. Never born for fight against friends or family. Come to shed some light on the system's fallacies. Yeah, the way man I proceed, be an example and set the lead. Tell the youth them how to be, yes, out what to eat, what to seek, and what to be. I see them on the roadside, see them when I'm gone and it load up. I tell them don't shoot that brother man, no, no, no. I said to just go on, hold on, keep on keeping on. Said keep on keeping on. Said just keep on keeping strong. Yeah, him say him go a call center. I say him go a call center. Forget $1 and get it just a little center. What? Nah, pay me enough. I give me $3.95 while the US over US them I get like $11 plus. That don't make no sense, that don't make no sense, you get it? That makes sense, that don't make no sense. Alright, no, so I say, freedom fighters, oh yeah, freedom fighters. All we need now, 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 now. Hey, freedom fighters, oh yeah, freedom fighters. That's all we need now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Freedom fighters, freedom fighters, oh yeah, freedom fighters, and that's all we need. Freedom fighters, freedom fighters, freedom, freedom, yeah. Is that like an impromptu way? The whole point of the message is they're out there, they're youths that are out there that really, really want to make a difference. You see me? They really want to do something. They really want to be a part of an initiative. They really want to have a say, even just do their actions in the street. So let's keep them in mind with whatever you guys are doing. Technology, environment, with even just the spiritual aspect. Guys, don't leave out the spiritual aspect of things too. Technology is awesome and everything, but don't forget what's inside, isn't it? Never ever forget that. That's how you really connect to people. I can come to you and be like, yo, this is the sickest pen ever. Yo, look at this, the ink. Yo, you can time travel with this and whatever, but if I can say to you that, how are you feeling? How are you doing today? Things all right? Things good? That's a different, isn't it, approach. All right, so bless them.
Black hero. That's the Black Hero, boys and girls. So you can check him out. Is there anything Black Hero? We big up your music, Rasta. What is the website, the Twitter handle and all of that? What? Wait, repeat that for them. What? Code word. If you're over the age of 20, boys and girls, you can't understand the code. I'm sorry. So just don't even bother try if you're over 20. All right. Thank you, Hero. That was awesome, you know. And as you can see, boys and girls, even some of the presentations from before, I mean, I hate to say boys and girls, I say that to everyone, right? Including our honorable minister. But the idea is that, as you can see, a lot of the points that were touched on earlier in the presentations, they're already happening, right? And we're singing about them. We the artists, you know, can't help but to voice the things we see around us. And they're already happening. So now we want to figure out a how, right? It is a pertinent question. What is the how? And what I mean by the how is like, what's the methodology? Not, Lord, how we are going to do it? Not that how. The how, the hopeful how, the solution-driven how, right? So it's not to say that we haven't been putting in measures for years or generations, but sometimes now we are armed with new technology. So the same methodology that used to fail before, now it can work. The same idea that somebody laughed at you before, now it can work. some ideas that I mean, if I come to you and say, we have an idea for start an internet cafe, you probably run me and laugh after me, right? Because that's not the time for this. But we have to use the technology advancement and our sociological advancement as well. Combine the forces of that. And as Hero said, join it with the spiritual current now to see the right choice to make as to how to employ, right? If that is not too many pronouns in one paragraph. So anyway, this is a song by the Roots Underground entitled Corners of My Mind, and this song was written in on the approach of Hurricane Ivan to Jamaica, which I don't remember what year that was in. But the whole idea was that, we were about to get devastated by this storm. And when Jah decides there's something for go on, everybody have to just humble down and remember that. So Corners of My Mind it's a metaphor also of what's happening in the environment, not just the physical environment, but the spiritual environment and the social environment. So here we go.
When the rain is falling down, means the storm is starting now. When the thunder's inside your eyes, it'll come as no surprise. And if you should take the time, you would slowly look inside, and you'd see there's revolution, corners of your mind. In the corners of your mind. Oh, Jah, don't make my well run dry. Now the storm has reared its head, and destruction's all around you. And those blue skies that you used to, they slowly come crashing down. And if you should take the time, you would slowly look inside, and you would see there's evolution, corners of your mind. Corners of your mind. Oh, Jah, no make my well run dry. Oh, Jah, no make my well run dry. Don't make my well run dry. Don't make my well run dry. And all the world feels satisfied. Hail Jah for this breath of life, and for shelter from the storm. And tonight I'll light the fire, and I know we will be warm. And you're burning while you're yearning to hold back those sands of time. And I'll see the world is turning in the corners of my mind. Corners of my mind. Don't make my well run dry. Don't make my well run dry. Don't make my well run dry. Oh no, don't make my well run dry. And all the world feel, take it. Now there's bombs on a city street. Day by day the children die. And that syncopated beat, well, won't be enough to satisfy. And if you should take the time, you would slowly look inside, and you'd see the revelation, corners of your mind.
So this is another little one now called farming, because I wear many hats, or in my case many tams, right? And one of them is I'm a farmer. My farm is located in a place called Highgate, Hopewell to be exact. St. Mary, anybody know it? St. Mary, all the St. Mary we come from, hands up, yeah, right. So what we realize is over the years of doing this music work and how much patience it requires to achieve what we are doing, right? We see the metaphor of farming, which is the same thing. You plant it, though, must grow, but you try your best and you plant again. And you wait a long time, and sometimes the fruit is ripe, sometimes it's sour, etc., etc. But you can never give up, because without farming there's no food, right? And this is the metaphor as well of our SDGs. If you check the deeper personal connection to your own life, which we're going to touch on later on, which is, how is your everyday action? I mean, if you want to get specific, we can speak about, no poverty when it comes down to food, or no hunger. But I'm talking about just your quality of life in general, right? So if it is that we can use the metaphor of farming for everything we do in college, you're studying to get your degrees or your masters, or you're aspiring to be ministers of government, or musicians, superstars like myself, just joking. The idea is that you really want to see how everything connects on a very basic level first, which we call the roots, right? And by knowing your roots and how the roots connect, it'll be very easy for you to adapt and even bring forth solutions of this thing. Because the truth of the matter is that when we look at what we're trying to achieve in 13 years left, it's easy, if everybody was of that mindset. So it's like, a little baby, they can talk, but they haven't learned yet. Or they can walk, but they haven't learned yet. But it's already in their brain. They're gonna be able to do it. It's just a question of time. So in that very same way, we wanna use this metaphor to drive further home the message of what we're doing here this morning. So this one, again, by the Roots Underground, called Farming.
Music, well, it's farming. Be careful what you're planting. Make sure we plant soul food, or else your soul gonna be starving. Music, well, it's farming. Higher meditation. Music feed your structure, you know. Farm it feed the whole creation, whoa. Instead of cash crops, we need some one jobs. And instead of mansions, we need some farm plots. You know what I mean, baby girl? Cause we no want no blood, money, oh Lord, in a Babylon debt traps. Cause these are roots, the reggae rhythm, revolution don't stop. I'm not a man who afraid to get my hands dirty. Deep in the soil, Rasta man, we're so worthy. Plant more trees, seeds of beauty. Now push no war, just love her with duty. Well, world leaders, what are your priorities? So many war, but none on world poverty. So many hungry, so many unhealthy. Locked in this jungle, concrete monstrosity. Lovely. It's a concrete monstrosity, yeah. Music is farming. Farming is charming, yeah. Ital is vital, oh. Why if you know? Keep playing. Know them counting sheep like them want to stay asleep. Babylon will make you weak with all the food where you they eat. Now their thoughts engage on the front page. Free thoughts drown tidal waves. Tsunami, where you gonna be? Nothing wrong, sharing views, truths, heated disputes about revolution, not to follow blind. Liberated thoughts reveal naturally. Justice in the soil shall execute. Justice in the root shall execute. Justice the wicked shall execute. Well, music is farming. Whoa. Be conscious of your garden. Yeah. Make sure we plant soul food.
Mr. Omar Francis from the Roots Underground band as well. Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I say ladies and gentlemen now, before anybody frowns upon me for calling them boys and girls, Thank you. So, again, Madam Chair, we turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Again, creativity, intellect, talent, bold action. So we are, I think I feel energized. How do you feel? Energized, ready to go. Okay.